Let's never change that. I love just the sentence. Nope, we're not going to fade it out. We're not going to end it. It just stops. Let's never change that.
I'm
Let's
just
never
laughing at when you
change
went
that.
to it, when you're like, okay, let's drop you guys in the back. You dropped each one of us one by one, and I'm like,
Well,
okay.
yeah, it's just the way. That's Jason's style, man. He's got his own flair. You've got your own flair. We should
I,
let everybody have their own flair.
their own flair.
Yeah. How many types of flair? 57?
57
37?
different types of flair.
57.
50.
Yeah.
57 different types of
Yeah.
flair.
You want to see my flair? You want to see my flair?
Here it is. Oh my gosh. It's been what, 6 weeks? Forever?
For
2.5 years.
For me, at least, it has. I had a couple of things pop up over the weekend or sorry, things cropped up on the weekends we would normally be doing this, so that kept me out of it. So.
And our boy over here had 2 different shows for Bigfoot Extravaganza.
Yeah, 2 different conventions, right? Or like conventions, you know what I mean, but like small gatherings.
Yeah. We did the Alabama Bigfoot Conference, and I forget what the other thing was that we did. But yeah, no, it's at a certain point, it's just I have to write everything down. No, the Alabama Bigfoot Conference was great.
So can I just comment on the fact that you forgot what the other thing was? Because this is what I would like. This is okay. So we're going to delve into some. This is your territory now, right? I'm getting into your shows.
Right.
What if everybody who was there doesn't remember what happened there because y'all all actually saw Bigfoot, but part of Bigfoot's powers is that he mind wipes you, and so the fact that you were all there and now none of you have no recollection. Everybody gets together and they're like, yeah, man, that's weird. Isn't that weird that we don't remember it? But they're like, I know I saw you, but I've got like this gap. And I'm just like, I know we were there and then we left. And
not just mind wipes you, but other things that go bump in the night.
No,
I'm just saying.
Why do you have to go there?
Because I just got done watching The Boys. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain the sick.
Not everything is about The Boys. Just saying. But yeah, no, actually, you know what? That's honestly with some of the stuff I'm dealing with. That
they
may
do,
be
Kim.
true.
They have the little flashy thingy, and they just.
No, I don't want to give him like devices and tech to use. I just think he's got. It's like he's.
But wouldn't it be funny though? Wouldn't it be funny though if he did though? He's like he turns around, he puts on the black suit, pulls out the, all the gadgets and gizmos, and he's all like.
Did you ever flashy thing at me, Bigfoot? No. I'm not playing. Don't play with me.
Did you
ever flash at me?
No.
Flashy thing at me?
Oh my gosh! All right. So anyway, Jason had that. Sean had some stuff. I had some stuff. Just prepping. It's been a while. We've missed everyone. We've missed each other. Doggone it, man.
No, not really.
Jason, it's so funny. Who knows how long the show is gonna go?
Kim, that would certainly explain the shortage of Bigfoots.
They're all wiped out by the Men in Black.
That certainly explains the shortage of Bigfoots. Yeah,
it would.
They all go in under Order 66.
Yeah.
No Bigfoot survive except a handful of them.
No, I mean I think it would just be a lot like the narwhals. They hunted them for their horns until they were extinct, and that's what you ended up with.
So Jason, you're in this. I can't even think about this now. I will say it. I've missed everybody. Certainly, it's been way too long. We're gonna try not to have I don't think we're gonna try not to have another big ass gap like this.
Yeah, try not. I mean, because this is
try
fun.
Not to.
We do enjoy. I mean, we do enjoy this.
Yeah.
But man,
that's why we do it. We do it for the fun, certainly not for the ratings.
Right. Yeah. Certainly not for the ratings.
Not our ratings.
Damn. When is it? So, actually, yeah, I won't be here for the next show. Spoiler
already.
Alert.
We're like, dude, like you didn't know that.
Sorry, you guys didn't even know that. That's what I'm saying. I'm letting I'm letting the viewer, I'm letting Kim know. And then y'all know. So y'all know as well, right? Is that I won't be here next weekend.
That's fair.
If everything goes to plan, I won't be here next weekend.
Well, we don't have a show next weekend, so we're good.
Not next weekend. The weekend after. I'm sorry, the weekend after.
That would be the 9th.
Yeah, the 9th. And if everything goes well on the 9th, at this time when y'all are having this show, I will be at a Cuban bar/restaurant in Soho, London, celebrating my sister's 50th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, tell her happy
Wow.
birthday for us.
I will. So we shall see how that goes.
Wow, dude. Well, I
Nice.
mean, we're certainly not going to keep you back from that.
No, you're not.
Not that we could have, but
No, that's why I have this incredulous look on my face. Like, there's no way you're even gonna be able to get, like, the sheer arrogance of you to assume that you
Sean,
would in any way, shape, or
you'll-
form be able to keep
you'll
me
see
from going anywhere.
Sean on the show, but he's just going to be in duct tape, just fighting for his
Yeah.
life. You know, going back and forth like. "Rah, rah."
So it's a normal show, is what I'm hearing.
It's a normal show.
It's a normal
Right.
show. It's a
And I
normal
won't be
show.
here the weekend of the 30th, so
Well, I
I'll
don't
be in
know.
Oregon.
I don't know.
Where-
Kim,
he-
it's not of my own making. It's just a perk of life. So we shall see. Again, no idea if we're actually going to make it out there because the flights are so crazily expensive. We're flying standby.
Oh,
So
wow.
we will see what happens.
All that to sit there and say is Sean may or may not be on the next show. And at the end of the month,
Oh.
Jason's got another, Bigfoot sighting event.
So if I'm not in London, if we don't make it there, we're making it on a plane to go somewhere
There you
because
go.
there is a standby open to get us to some city somewhere. If I'm at the airport and I've gone through check-in and
flying
I've got
somewhere.
my bag packed,
Yeah.
we're flying somewhere. The goal is London. We'll
Oh my
see if we get there.
Well, the good news is, Jason, is you actually you won't miss the next show. So I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, we'll be here.
So I think even
Cool.
yeah, because we'll have the show on the 9th and the 23rd for July. So we may just have to add our special sauce into the show for the weekend that Sean's out. To be our foreign news correspondent.
I'm coming to you live from downtown London, where this rager of 50 and up people is really getting off to a slow start. Let me tell you, the shuffle that I see these individuals getting on is fantastic.
There's a hip.
A few partygoers are tired already. I do see some individuals sitting, but nonetheless, this is not going to deter these. Sorry, no, I'm done.
Oh my gosh!
I do expect pictures of some legit fish and chips.
Oh, I've already scoped out the spot. If we go, there's a it's called Poppy's. It's in Soho, and it's a 9-minute walk from our hotel. So hopefully we'll get there.
Sorry, Kim just said I'll be the special sausage.
Sentence I never thought I would say. Yeah.
Hold on. That deserves to be on the screen.
That does right there. Breaking boundaries and rules. Before we get into even the meat of the show, which who knows how long this will last today, because we've got a lot of pent up nerd energy that I got a little bit out at the Fan Expo last week, which was pretty cool. Guys over at Cobra Kai were really, really fun.
Oh, did you run into Ben? Because I think he was going on.
Did not run into dude. Let me tell you, it's not over, but the way we're treating COVID is over because I guarantee you, Saturday was like a normal convention from 4 years back, and it was shoulder to shoulder. So, what? You gotta, Gabe? Love you, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah, but I'm
do
not,
a more proper shout out,
yeah.
Raymond.
No, it's not for him. It's not for him.
I know.
It's for Gabe.
It's for Gabe. I know. That's what I'm saying. Do it.
Still, he could ask. He could ask a little bit better, other than just like come up with throw a question mark in there. Maybe do something.
Please.
That could get that'll get you a long way.
And Kim, not too many people got to see that cosplay except for the 50,000 people that were there on Saturday. But we went on Friday when cosplay, so yeah. Let me tell you, some of those cosplays were fantastic. But I had no clue how they did it in 101 degree heat.
Yeah,
outside.
This was outside.
No, it wasn't outside. It was inside. So some of them I know absolutely got dressed inside. Those people, it's like, yeah, that's a smart thing to do. But there were a ton of people who
were outside,
they were walking outside,
up.
and I'm like, how are y'all doing that? Because that's crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts.
But it was fun. It was really fun. Never saw Ben. Did get to see David Sanchez. His art continues to amaze. If you don't know who I'm talking about, look him up. David Sanchez. He has done a couple of covers for the Department of Truth, and it's very lifelike. Actually, did one for oh my gosh, was it Carla Dune on Star Wars? What's her
Yeah.
name?
Oh,
Yeah,
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. Just Pitch Perfect had a picture.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, his is very, very lifelike. But did get to see a lot of different people. Jim Lee was there. Got to see him. Thankfully I didn't have to wait in that line because no, I'm getting too old for that. But I do know that some of us saw some interesting movies while we were out the past few weeks. Sean, what was your favorite movie that you got to see?
Well, so the one I enjoyed the most, I really, really did like Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you haven't seen that, it is really good. I was like most of us here, when we go watch a film, we kind of want it to stick with us for a little while afterwards.
One moment. Speaking of sticking with you for a while and things that are really good, Jeremy over at Titan Comics would love to see your business. We are powered by Jeremy at the moment, and we do appreciate his patronage, and he would appreciate yours. He website, phone number, address, all in the doobly-doo below. Go see him. He's our favorite comic monger and has all of your favorite geeky accoutrements. Now, back to you, Sean.
Also, welcome to Vagabond Nerds, everybody.
Oh yeah. That's a proper
So,
intro.
There's our backwards intro.
12 minutes into it.
12 minutes into the whole situation. But yeah, so it's I think it's really, really fun when you leave a theater and you are still thinking about that movie and the concepts in the movie like a week later, 2 weeks later even. Jason's got something to do privately, so Baby Godzilla will take his place. But yeah, it was a really good film. I will say I also got to see Doctor Strange. I saw it in the theater.
Oh yeah, that's right. You hadn't been able to see that yet.
I hadn't. Well, I was lucky enough to see it the first weekend. Like the first weekend we were supposed to be here that I was out. I saw it that day, that weekend. And I was a little bummed out that I didn't get to have join in the discussion about it, because y'all were not bashing it per se, but definitely there was a debate, and it was a good one. It was a very good one. I watched it again last night, because it's streaming now for those of you who wait till it comes on Disney Plus. So it's streaming.
I was gonna say, and the one that you just saw is streaming on like Apple, so I think it's
it's somewhere.
I've actually got that queued up on my Apple, but I don't know if it's streaming on any of the services outside of the paid services just yet.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Kim, you're always cool.
But did you get that all taken care of?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Flash Bigfoot.
Well, he that the bastard keeps calling. He knows I'm doing a show, and I'm like, seriously, Sasquatch, you can't be calling when I'm doing a show. Like, you were supposed to be trying to keep you on the DL, and yet.
So she finally watched Doctor Strange 2, and she was saying,
"We finally watched it." She didn't say anything. I will just say that after having watched it a second time through, it doesn't get any better. That's the sad part. Is the second watch doesn't make it any better.
It's not the Eternals.
And hold on, hear me out, right? It's not a terrible movie. It just didn't feel like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's a horror film.
But even then, it didn't feel like a Marvel horror film. It just felt kind of a little disjointed. And I think part of the reason that I was disappointed, because I was disappointed, it's still a decent movie, but I was disappointed, was because I had expectations. Yeah. I had expectations of it being a Marvel film, and it didn't feel like a Marvel film, so it didn't meet my expectations. So I think I'm judging it unfairly. If I'm trying to follow the idea
Fantasia 2022.
If I'm trying to follow the idea of like an actual critic review, I'm sure there's more to it that's probably higher rated than that, than me being disappointed. But I'll say this though, Sam Raimi did a good job of doing another Sam Raimi movie. Like Sam Raimi's style was all over this thing, and that was, I think, one of the things y'all didn't really touch on. His camera shots were there. The quick, spinny, shaky, all over from a ghost's point of view thing was going on. There were some great quick pull-ins on like Wanda's face when she came out of the into the little tunnel under the water, and her eyes were glowing red, and she looked like a little haunted demon. I mean, Sam Raimi did a good job in this movie. Was Sam Raimi the right director for it? And did it have the right story and writers? That's the problem. I'm just not sure if it was the right thing for it. But I don't want to get off on a.
We also don't know though, because we know that there's a lot left on the cutting room floor, according to everybody.
Oh yeah.
So maybe it's missing. It wasn't bad. I had zero expectations going to it because it was a Sam Raimi film, and I just don't like it when he does superheroes. That's just my thing. And I know also don't want to get the same Danny Elfman soundtrack all the time.
So I went back and I looked at, as like I'm sitting there watching the movie, and I got my phone out, and my wife got onto me because she was like, "Really, you have your phone out?" And I was like, "I've seen this before."
Yeah.
So kept watching it, and I'm looking up the Sam Raimi flicks, and there's a ton of non-superhero movies that he did that I'm like, "Oh, I love that movie. Oh, I love that movie. Oh, that was a great movie."
Darkman.
Or, "Oh man, that was ridiculous. That was funny, but that was ridiculous," you know. And it's just like he's done a lot of good movies, and so that's I like him as a director. I just don't know if this was the right thing for him.
And I think that's why I said what I said, which is like I'm just not a huge fan of his superhero movies when he does. And I go back to the story that when me and Jason first walked out of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Jason's eyes were lit up, and I was just like,
because he got to see the comic book iteration come to life, and that was the point. Like it really followed the comics and the theme of the comics very well. So I agree with him in that. I understand that. You know,
I still go back with Spider-Man 2 is probably his best.
Oh, it is
the best. Yeah, that was the best.
And it's one of the best superhero movies ever made. I mean, that's just straight up what it. Like I said, I'm not saying the best. I said one.
No,
of
I know one of. It's high up in the category of good superhero movies. It really is. Yeah.
But like, and again, my take on it was I liked the movie overall. I thought it was a good movie. It was a horror film. It was not it wasn't a Marvel film. To your point, completely agree with that. And again, I wish I had been the one to come up with it, but someone said this wasn't a PG-13 movie. This was a lowercase R.
It was a lowercase r, but you know what?
Especially dismantling of the Illuminati.
Of the Illuminati. Yeah. Which again, so I was wondering if that felt like the gimmick because I'd only seen it the first time, and I watched it the second time, and I remember when I was in the theater and I'm watching it, and the Illuminati thing happened, and the moment they like mentioned them, and you start to, and I was like, that's when I got interested in the movie. It's at that point that the movie got interesting for me. Same thing happened again last night while I was watching the film. The moment they introduced the other characters, the other superheroes who were only in it for like what, 20 minutes?
If that. I don't even think it's that long. I think it was
like 15 minutes.
Yeah, try like 5 to 10.
Yeah, but no, they're in there for longer than that. It's just not very long. I mean, you'd be surprised how short 5 minutes really is and how long it seems when you're actually watching a movie. But they're only in it for a short amount of time. But
Captain Carter's scene got cut in half, so.
So I watched that, and I was like, that's when I got interested again, and I would have loved to have seen more of them. Yeah. Anyways, the thing though, Jason, I think they didn't. I don't think they leaned into it far enough for a horror film. It didn't feel like a horror film. It felt disjointed. The horror moments that show up really late in the film. And you can tell, like halfway through filming, all of a sudden, that's where Sam Raimi starts doing his camera shakes and all this, stuff involved in those certain action sequences. And I'm like, if you wanted this to be a horror film, you should have started introducing those elements way earlier. And they just didn't. It wasn't scary. And I mean, not that it needed to be scary, but it didn't have that horror film until she shows up and she's actually going after the Illuminati.
And I don't disagree.
The moment the Illuminati thing happens, that's when all of a sudden the movie became a movie, and the rest of it was fine. But all that build up to it is just.
Well, hold on. You don't think it was? You didn't get the horror vibes when she first shows up at Carmitage and is
when she's in the temple.
When she's in the temple?
No, nothing. I didn't feel any. That did not feel. That felt just like a superhero battle to me. There's no horror in that. There's no horror in that at all.
When she's coming up through the mirrors and stuff, that.
Oh, okay, that's true. No, you're right. Yeah. There was a little bit of that. It was a little bit there, but still, it just felt like, I don't know. It just felt like superhero stuff to me.
I'll tell you what I watched over the past few weeks or whatever, but I finally got to see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, I have been wanting to see that. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Loved that movie.
I can't wait to see
movie.
that.
Is that on streaming?
Yeah.
I need to see that.
It's Nicolas Cage at his very Nicolas Cage.
Being Nicolas Cage.
Cage. And it's not. I will say, I don't know if anyone said it before. It's not for everybody. It's not. But if you get it, if you get the inside jokes and everything else, and just watching it, it is.
Well, and
it's hysterical.
Pedro Pascal, who I love. I mean, love the Mandalorian. So I mean,
he owned every scene he was in with Nicolas Cage. Like it was. It certainly wasn't like, oh, it's Nick Cage plus, Pedro plus the Mandalorian. It was very much they were going at it, and it was.
Well, Pedro Pascal in an interview even said when he was in a scene with Nick, he's like, he pushed me to be a better actor.
Yeah.
Because Nick was pushing him. He's like, no, he that was one of the things he walked away from. He goes, I feel like I'm a better actor just being in a movie with this dude because of the commitment he brings to the role.
Which is also an underlying. Just again, I won't spoil any of it. I will say, for those of us who are definitely hosting the show, but for those of us who watch or whatever, if you like our sense of humor, this is very much in that line of just. Out there, doesn't make sense, and you're like watching, you're like, oh my god, did they actually just do X, Y, and Z?
So not counting us, there's at least 2 other people in the world who are going to love this movie.
At least 2 other people in the world. No, that stayed at the top of that charts for a while, but it was definitely worth a watch, and in a very superhero driven event movie laden landscape that we currently preside in, where it's got to be about what hero's saving us next. This was just a breath of fresh air.
Well, it's agreed. I mean, so was the Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was an amazing, it was a nice departure from having seen all these. I've got Marvel exhaustion. I've got DC exhaustion. I'm tired of seeing these movies. I kind of want to get back to the point where we're telling some stories now about some normal folks and things, and that maybe we're not giving it enough credit. I'm sure that stuff's out there right now. I'm sure it exists.
Pig, dude. That's the way I felt when I watched Pig.
Well, right, the other Nicolas Cage.
What I would honestly say may be his best movie ever.
We haven't really departed very far from the what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of other movies out there that I'm sure don't get enough attention and probably aren't maybe even hitting the big screen. Like some are going straight to streaming services and there's a lot of good stuff like that comes straight to Netflix or goes straight to Apple.
For sure.
And it's just a good movie, and those are out there. And they don't get advertised on regular TV. I mean, I don't think they do. How would I? I'm probably not the best person to judge. I haven't turned on regular TV that isn't KERA 13 in I don't know how long. So
I haven't watched anything over air in a long time now.
I'll tell you the 2 movies. So and it still falls in this category. Don't get me wrong. But I'm looking forward to seeing Maverick. I was just talking to Jason earlier, and looking forward to seeing Jurassic World. Although it's still kind of both of those are still very much summer tentpole movies, but it is a little bit different.
They are different.
People aren't. Well, I was about to say, people aren't wearing over outlandish costumes, but I'm like, well, you do have Navy pilots.
That's not really that outlandish, Jason.
That's what I was about to say. Well,
was that a dig at who I think it was supposed to be at, Jason?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I would say I have to argue though that these are franchise movies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's different. I'm talking about non-franchise stuff. I'm
Yeah.
talking
No,
about
absolutely.
one-offs. I'm talking about a single story you get to go watch, and that's it. Just I don't know. I don't know. There's good stuff out there. I think it's just harder to find now because they're not part of the algorithm that gives it to you. You got to go
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's difficult to find things outside of your lane when everything is geared to just shovel you shit that's already in your lane. It's like,
Yeah.
how am I going to become a more broadly defined person if I only focus on these three things? And that's all Facebook and Instagram and Twitter sends my way.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, yeah.
Oh my goodness. What else? Let's get into Kenobi.
Oh, dude.
All right, so let's do the normal thing, right? Thumbs up, thumbs down. You like it? Jason, go.
Okay. Can I? Okay. Almost. It's like Moon Knight. There were lots of things about it that I really liked, that I thought were awesome. But by the time it was over and we're looking at the entire series, it's kind of like, I mean, it's like the sum is lesser than the parts for me. So I'm sort of like here on this. It's like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, right? But it's also, I'm like, by the end, I'm like, okay, so that happened, you know. I mean, I, again, lots of reasons for it. Like, there are some legitimately great stuff. There's some legitimately good stuff in it. I'd even say some great stuff. But to the point that I think Sean was making, at the end of it, I'm like, okay, so this is just it's a Mick franchise. It's just another Mick franchise filler because they got to have content, right? I think
So
that's
So
where I'm
I'm
at
gonna
on it.
come. I'm gonna come back to you on that because I
let's
don't disagree.
let's answer the question this way, Jason. Would you recommend it to a friend?
If you've got nothing better to do, yeah,
Wow. Okay, so that's a
it's
no.
Okay.
yeah,
No,
All
that's
right,
a
so that's a
no.
no. So you didn't
That's a
like it.
no.
So
You
you
didn't
didn't
like it.
like it.
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, it was something. To what Sean was mentioning earlier,
You're
it's like
burned out. You're
we're
burned
getting
out.
burned out on having to. It's like, hey, do you want to watch something that's not going to matter at all in the overall narrative of the story, and that is really too long, and we're doing it because we got to fill time on our slate so that you can keep paying for subscriptions? Here you go.
Interesting.
Sean, what about you?
Loved it. Thought it was fantastic. And you know what I loved the most about it? It ended before I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
When I saw that yesterday, not yesterday, when I saw that this week was the season finale, I was just like, oh my God, it's over. And I went, oh, thank God. And then I was like, this is so cool. Like, this is something I talk about all the time. They didn't overextend it. This is not a Jessica Jones with four shows that could have been axed because they are just repetitive bullshit.
Like 9
It
episodes too long.
Yeah.
it was it. Shut up, Ray. Shut up, Ray. You're such a jackass. It to me it had no filler. I didn't think there was any filler in this show. I felt like it started
Really?
and it built because of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It builds the relationship. Well, I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to go into it. That's how I felt, right? As I liked it. I didn't think there was any filler. I thought it was very well put together. I really liked the relationship that you get to see, but from Anakin and Obi-Wan, and it just like and the relationship between young Princess Leia and Obi-Wan. I mean, that fills in so many gaps for me. But you're right. I can see where you're coming from in the idea that it's a filler. Like if your idea is it's a pointless story in the overall narrative, it is. But this is a prequel novel. That's what this is. This is
Mm-hmm.
after you've read all the Harry Potter books, and then you go back and you read the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This is another novel where they're like, let's flesh this world out more. That's all it does. But they did it in a very good way. I think they started and ended it in a great, concise manner, and there was very little filler to it. I liked it.
I gotta ask Jason, and so I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep mine simple. Loved it. I thought it was one of the better shows that Disney Plus is putting out right now. But are you gonna have the same complaint that when I see these little Star Wars, a-holes online, complain, it's not my Star Wars, it's not my Batman,
We
because
No.
he's not going to say that, dude. We don't say that because
Yeah.
we understand that. We know that it's different for everybody.
So my thing is that I have to agree with Sean. I don't think there were any filler episodes. In fact, I got to be honest, like this kept ending. It's not like it always ended on every episode ended on a cliffhanger. That's not what I'm saying. But it did end right when you wanted to have it continue, to have it go more. Like I would have loved to have seen this as a 2.5 hour flick, and maybe that kind of kills your filler episodes or your filler moments for you.
I had the exact same thought at the end when it was winding down. I thought, man, this could have been a good 2 hour movie, right?
And
2 hour
yes.
15.
Yes.
That's
No,
what
I
I
agree
thought
with
of
that.
the moment
Mhm.
but then like, I considered the fact that some of this material may not have actually translated into the 2 hour 15 minutes. It probably did work better in episodic format. So, but yeah, it could have easily, I think, with some tweaks to the script, it could have easily been a 2 hour 15-minute movie. Straight, yeah, that would have been fine.
Yeah, and so let me go back with, like I said, there are many great parts of the show that I liked a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously acting's on point, the chemistry's there. There were, it just okay. My favorite was that naked mole rat creature that was the truck driver that gets him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you like the Nazi sympathizer? That's your favorite?
I didn't say it was my favorite part. I just
your white is showing, Jason.
Yeah,
I'm just letting you know right now.
Well, no, just the fact that he's just
I like the
here's
guy who picks them up and almost turns them into the Empire. That was my favorite part.
I didn't say he was my favorite guy. I said
No,
I like
I know,
that whole
I'm-
series. Like that.
I know.
Yeah, I get it.
You like
No,
the theory, the fact that there were some people that actually did sympathize. They were
Right.
showing that there were two sides of it. There were those that
Yes.
that absolutely
Mhm.
felt like,
Exactly.
oh my God,
Well-
they are taking care of us, and this is what's going on. And then
Mhm.
there was, what he saw as, a true rebellion for the sake of being just rebellious, as opposed to, why don't you just fall in line and let's
Yeah.
go to our Nazi overlords, right?
Right. Exactly. Well, and the fact that they have him in a again, they're just sitting there, and you can feel the weight of the conversation, and you think he's just some dude, and then when he gets there, and he's like, "Hey, I found these two people. You may want to take a closer look at them." Like he was playing them the whole time.
Yeah.
It's again, like I said, there are these, and again, obviously him and Leia, the interactions there, Leia on Alderaan, Reva, third sister, and Kenobi, like that was all really good. Like I said, there wasn't necessarily a bad part. It's just I thought it was disjointed, right? I felt like I thought there was, if it was one episode shorter, if they had condensed a few of the interactions, it would have had more. It would have felt. I think they could have ended it if they moved a few of these like Kenobi and Kenobi and Obi-Wan, Kenobi and Vader. If they had moved that confrontation and Reva's confrontation with him as one thing, and that's what allows Kenobi to leave.
So for you, it's pacing.
Yeah, pacing. Well, yeah, pacing, and I think I know they're gonna try and do something with Reva, but it's like I really felt like her character needed to, like we've always said with Finn, like Finn had sacrificed himself in The Last Jedi. It would have felt like his story was more complete. I think if Reva had actually died, it would have been a more complete
So
thing.
you're-
Like,
okay,
she
so
I
dies
do
to
agree
save
with that.
Kenobi. Yeah,
I do agree with
see
that.
And yeah, you're definitely, because that's you're echoing what I normally say is there was no wait.
yeah.
That like but I don't know. I haven't watched it. My initial viewing has left me satisfied, right?
Yeah.
Like I am satisfied with what they presented, and I personally haven't thought about or really considered them changing anything. But if you see the way mentioning that now, I can see how that would have had a greater impact.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that would have had a greater impact. But I don't feel it was necessary for me anyways. But it definitely could have been an improvement. I mean, could have easily seen that as an improvement.
So Kim has a great point here.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Now, yeah, it isn't pacing. It's more forced explanations to make things make sense. Things had to happen one particular way to not throw off continuity, but the pieces, they fit awkwardly together. So that's a better explanation. Like I said, it's. I think there were missed opportunities. Reva dying to save Kenobi, I think, is one of them.
I don't
Right?
think necessarily. I don't think necessarily. This is where I agree with you that she shouldn't have made it, but I
Yeah.
think having her made it all the way to the end, I think she needed that realization that she's not able to kill that child, right?
Right. She had to see herself, man. She had to see her
Mhm.
childhood. That's
But
that's the journey.
Yeah, but I
you know?
do agree though that when she, got Luke to the final destination there, so to speak, that should have ended her. Like, even have the conversation with Obi-Wan, like I did things wrong, and him going, "It's not your fault, it's okay," and then have her die. In that
Mhm.
sense, like we know, okay, they got other plans for the third sister, which is fine. Not a bad character. I didn't think it was a bad
she's not a bad
character.
character at all.
Mm-mm,
That's what I'm
not
saying.
at all.
A lot of great pieces. It's just the sum is lesser than than the
And
some of the parts.
I mean,
the
it
one
wasn't
thing,
it wasn't Boba Fett.
No, it was not.
No, it was
Yeah.
not Boba Fett. No,
Like I said,
listen,
I'm
again,
not dissing it. I'm just saying it's not
I think
the
this
greatest.
was just as good as Mandalorian for me. That's the way I see it. Like for me, that's where I rank it. I'm still fine with its quality, with the storytelling and what they did. I don't think it really has. I definitely don't think it deserves to be compared to Boba Fett.
No, it does not.
But
But
the reason I don't think I think that is because they gave us Obi-Wan and they didn't change Obi-Wan. They changed Boba Fett. Boba Fett, they gave him
Yeah.
they gave him a storyline of let's make him a good guy, and it's like no, Boba Fett's supposed to be a ruthless bounty hunter. He should have been the entire time, and you should have just made him a crime boss and an anti-hero, and that would have been a lot more interesting.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't have to do that with Obi-Wan because we already see how Obi-Wan plays out, right? This was a prequel versus a continuation of somebody else's story later down the road. So there's no room for them to change anything, which I did think was a benefit. I don't want to see another one. I don't want to see another Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't.
We're getting one.
Okay.
I think it would.
They've announced it.
They've announced it. I think it.
No, they have not. No, they did not. What they said is the actors said we would like to come back for another one if they have it. But Disney has said we're not sure yet. I thought the same thing, but
I don't mind.
I hope they
I
don't.
don't mind. I don't mind if he pops up in another story, but I don't want to like if he's there for a couple episodes or something, or if somebody references him and they show up for a moment. But I don't want to see another like this was the thing that nobody really talked about in any of the movies leading up to it because it's like, yeah, how does Leia know that Obi-Wan Kenobi is her only hope? But I mean, this sets up that's such a great premise. It's such a that's why I love it so much. It goes back and it touches on something that you're like, well, why? Like other than just I've heard about you and you're out there somewhere. This gave that one thing in that story so much more context. And I thought that was great.
It also gave an extraordinary amount.
Kim, that was good too. Yeah.
It gave a really big weight to that last Vader Obi-Wan scene, and I'm not talking in A New Hope.
Dude.
I mean, it was so one. So now we know what Obi-Wan looks like when he's pissed off.
Yeah,
because he was just done with it. But he
also how much power he has. Like,
and the fact he emoted so much.
Yeah, he did. He did. This was really. I mean, Ewan McGregor is a fantastic actor, and he did such a good job as Obi-Wan. That's what and also, my opinion, this is a redemption for Hayden Christensen.
Yes,
because him there as Vader, dude. That scene with the mask smashed in half, and even the scene. The flashback to Order 60 was 66, 88.
Well,
Order?
Between Order 66, that like fight during the Clone Wars where they're training.
Yes, he just Hayden Christensen has come. Well, no, let me take that back. Hayden Christensen not being directed by George Lucas shows that he can actually act.
It's true.
And that's the thing too, is because when he's going, and I love the fact that when he's having that conversation with the cracked mask, I also love the fact that he's talking and that voice box keeps going in and out.
Yes.
Oh man,
I
it's
was like,
cutting in and out.
dude, I
Yes.
was like,
And
that
his
is
face
so.
is getting lit up by the
Mhm.
lightsaber because you can see him moving it. He's still like,
Yep.
he's still a ferocious animal moving his saber a little bit, and they made Darth Vader again more terrifying
Yeah.
than it continues to be able to add to his terrifying legend. I mean, I think it's great, you know.
Because again, much not. I mean, granted, it was explored more, obviously being one of the main characters in the original trilogy. But we come into this and we're just supposed to believe that Darth Vader is just feared by his name,
Well,
and this is showing us why.
and it
You know.
works, right? It works.
Yeah, it does work.
There's something to be said about easily convincing an audience quickly to don't think about that. Don't worry about this. Focus on what I'm telling you. And if you're a good storyteller, then you just focus on it. You don't have to worry about it. You know, you don't have to sit there and go, but wait a minute, where did Snoke come from? Who gives a shit? Just watch the movie.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter, right? It's not important to the story. So, and it wasn't important to the story. And I'll argue that anybody to watch the first trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, the original trilogy, I should say, you still don't care. You don't care. They just tell you Vader's a badass, and you just don't care. You're like, oh yeah, he's the bad guy, and they establish it perfectly, and you're like, fine, it doesn't matter. So, but now you do have these added little snippets from Rogue One and now from Kenobi, where Darth Vader is just, man, yeah, he's evil, and it's done. And Hayden Christensen did a really good job of being that in this.
Yeah, and someone pointed something out, how in Rebels, Ahsoka cracks the right side of his mask.
Yeah, and this is the left side.
And this is the
left side.
Yeah, and so it's like, so his Padawan reveals the right side of his face. His master reveals the left. It's his son that removes the helmet entirely.
That's a deep dive, man, but I like it.
I like it.
That's a deep dive, but I really like that. That is good.
Don't think that's what Filoni was aiming for, but I'll take it.
But
probably not. Probably
not.
I don't care.
But
it was still good.
Yeah,
that's a nice pull, man.
That's well, Star Wars is supposed to be poetry, so you're supposed to be able to read it and view it from a literary perspective. And so, to your point, yeah, he probably wasn't thinking that specifically, but I do think he's like, we can't have him remove the helmet, and so it works as a theme. His fight with Reva was one of my favorite fights in the entire Vader's fight with Reva was my favorite fight in the entire scene, or in the entire series.
Wasn't really much of a fight, though, was it?
Well, but to your point, it reveals at all, which is the point. It shows how powerful and good he really is.
Yeah, he knew from the get-go. He was like, you think I didn't notice? Yeah,
you think I didn't know who you were? But he fights her entirely with the Force, and he's like, let me take your lightsaber. Let me do the fact that these lightsabers are toys anyway. He's like, you Inquisitors don't have a real lightsaber. You have toys because you need them. Let me show you why you have to have a toy. And then fights her, takes the other lightsaber, impales her with her own lightsaber. He never pulls his. He's like, you're not worthy of me using my real lightsaber on you. So like that whole scene was amazing. And I'm sorry, I gotta throw a little thing out here for Qui-Gon. I did love the appearance. I wish they'd done more with Qui-Gon, honestly.
I think that was perfect. The whole,
for what the story was, it was perfect.
Took you long enough.
Yeah, it took you long enough.
Not hi, my young, young Padawan, or it's been a long time. Or
Obi-Wan, you finally, no sort of respect.
He might as well.
It was still. I mean, it was respectful, but it was a respectful jibe.
Thanks for getting your head out your butt, Obi. We could have done this about 10 years ago. But it was very nonchalant. But and I was going to say, Jason. So, but you bring up a point that's the only thing that I had an issue with. I know in the video games, the Force has a power bar.
Yeah.
So is that what happened with Vader when he took down the one ship and he let the other ship go? Did he just have to recharge his power bar?
So, hold on.
That was a really big leap.
But that's another problem. Perfectly, that I had when what's her face shoots and blows something up as he's trying to cook. He's trying to cook Obi-Wan on the ground on his nice little fire bed of coals.
Yeah.
And the stormtroopers come up and start shooting, and he puts his lightsaber away and just like watches them leave. And I'm like, Anakin, you lazy piece of shit! Like, no wonder you're not.
Yeah.
No wonder you're not an actual master yet. You're not driven enough to go do anything about it.
Well, and I'm just trying to figure out, why is Qui-Gon the only friggin' force sensitive person in the entire series who dies when getting impaled by a lightsaber?
So,
because so far we've had like half a dozen of these Jedi and Sith and wannabes get impaled. They're like, "Whoop, I'm fine."
The Sith theory is it's the hate that keeps them going, which is something that the Jedis don't tap into.
That is true. That is true. That is the theory.
To me, it is a huge.
It's just
a stretch. It's a stretch. It's someone going, "Ooh, yeah, we did kill Qui-Gon pretty quick," but it's because he's not a Sith. You know.
It's the Titanic door thing, right? It's like, well, the door's big enough for both of them to get on, and Cameron's like, look, it's not my fault the prop guys made the door too damn big.
Yeah.
He's supposed to die. That's how he dies. It's not my fault.
And he didn't. Also, have you ever
tried to get into like a boat with another person who's not moving in it on open water? Like, you could easily capsize and lose that person, and then they're both gone. I mean, the safer thing to do is to, float in the water. So sorry, Leo.
It is that's exactly right. Oh my gosh, Darth Maul.
Like, I get not walking. Like, at this point, I get not walking off having your head cut off. But
didn't Darth Maul even bounce off one of the sides of the chamber as he fell down?
that mother effer bounced. He was cut in half and bounced and fell down in an impossibly dark, long shaft, because apparently they have them all over the Star Wars universe.
No, we're not
railings.
We're not to the boys yet on Herogasm. You gotta wait before you start talking about dark shafts.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look, overall for me, I loved it. I liked Obi-Wan. It was good.
I thought it was fantastic.
I just thought it was fine. Yeah. I mean, like I said,
overall, which is not a problem. Not a problem.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Great scenes.
And I'm not throwing shade. I'm not throwing shade on your experience at all, dude. Definitely not. Because I see what you're talking about. It can, like, that's the thing, is it matters to you. That matters to you. So it's like, it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Luke's hand was not as lucky.
Yeah.
I love that.
The way Vader fights with just one hand, the way he's fighting with one hand most of the time, I thought was very cool and interesting. And it was, at first I was watching him do it, and I was just thinking it was because he was being arrogant, like, I'll friggin' do this with one hand tied behind my back sort of situation. But then, having watched their confrontation, Obi-Wan and Vader, I do think it's more or less so that he knows how much strength he's using in one hand and can focus his fight with his saber, but keep his other hand open for moving things and using the Force and using his full powers, and not just two hands, one blade limit.
He's focused on multiple attacks.
He's giving himself options, which I thought was, at first I just thought it was an arrogance thing, and I still think it could have been, especially earlier on, like as Kim pointed out, when he was walking down the street, killing kids, and just random family members who were hunkered down in their homes while he's looking for Obi-Wan. But
all I know is from now on I'm using rock slapped.
Rock slapped,
rock slapped.
Here, hold on, let me pop that up. Yeah.
But I agree with that.
Yeah. Also, by the way, why the hell did Anakin just think, I've piled all these rocks on top of you, you're weak, you're dead? The first thing, if anything we've learned from watching Padawans in all of our episodes of every Star Wars thing we've ever seen, the first thing they learn to do is lift fucking rocks. He's not dead. He's not dead. I'm sorry, there's my F-bomb, but he's not dead. Why did you just turn around and walk away, you dumbass? Well, that fire's too far. I can't get across that. Oh, that ship's going away. Well, the
Padawans can only lift one rock.
All these rocks on top of him. Like, come on, man. Pull your head out of your helmet.
He's got to still be thinking the Obi-Wan's at his weakest. Like, that's to that point. Because a little bit of that, not to that exact point that you just made, but a little bit, I was like, it is just kind of rocks. He's got to be thinking that Obi-Wan's still like he wiped the floor with him on their first encounter, and he's still got to be thinking, oh, he's still this weak or whatever. Jason, bless you. But for that point, when he throws the rocks off, like he's also got to be thinking, ah, crap.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope he is.
There had to be a little bit of and it looked like it. Like he, again, hats off to Hayden, but when he turns back around, his body language changes. Like I don't know if you noticed that. Like his shoulders kind of plump. Like
he was caught. Yeah.
Ah, doggone it.
I mean, it is that's the thing is when we see Anakin throughout.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I can see it, and I definitely his
except when it comes to kids.
Yeah, hold on. I do have a pushback on that on Kim's point though.
Well, so what I was gonna,
Sean, please finish. Please finish.
No, you push back. You do your thing. I've been talking long enough. Go ahead.
I would argue the problem is Anakin is a creation of the Force there to fulfill the Force's overall plan and goal for the future of Force sensitive people. So all of his actions basically fall under he doesn't really have the free will to do it. He's the reason if he makes this, we can literally chalk all of his decisions up to the Force made him do it, because that's why he's there. He is the chosen one. He's there to destroy Palpatine, but it's not just the Sith he destroys. It has to be all of the Sith, right? It has to be all of their plans, which of course they completely undo with the new trilogy, but whatever. The point is, like, why does he fall so easily to the dark side? Because that was always the thing. Everyone's
destiny.
Like, oh yeah, it's his destiny. It is
destiny.
So why doesn't he kill Obi-Wan when he's got the chance? Because the Force doesn't want him to.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I was going to go a similar route. I was going to say, to me, it is more or less his arrogance. Mm-hmm. He just believes that I've done enough, which arrogance can be lazy.
Yeah, it is.
Arrogance is an easy downfall for a lot of people. So I do think that I think he really did think he's weak. I've just destroyed him. I've covered him in rocks. He's definitely dead, and he underestimated it because he underestimates everything. And he's been underestimating things throughout all the movies we've seen him in growing into Vader.
From 1 through 6.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. He underestimates everything. And that is his ultimate character's downfall is he still thinks he's better than everybody. And that's the arrogance. And it's
that's the arrogance of the Sith, right?
So let's have a palette.
It is. It really is. That's a core. That is a core thing for them. It's that core evil to who they are. They always think they're better than everybody else, more powerful than everybody else, at least.
Yeah.
Let's have a palate cleanser before we get into another thing that I want to talk about today.
Yeah, because we have been talking about this for like 45 minutes.
Well, that's why I was like, we're probably going to talk mostly about Kenobi because there's a lot there to talk about. There is
a lot there. There is a lot there.
I'm just trying to figure out what the heck kind of sanitary, like the fact that he works as a butcher and it's completely unsanitary. Like Tatooine is just that like that whole scene. I'm like, where's the health department on Tatooine? Seriously,
the Trader's Village of the universe.
Really
I think my favorite meme was it was like some fast food employee writes a picture of them just going. It's like Tatooine after carrying every friggin' show and movie in the Star Wars franchise.
So, speaking of people who need to have kryptonite, Ezra Miller.
I'm intrigued.
I'm going to spend about 2 minutes on this, maybe not even that long.
Yeah.
What is wrong with him? Like, dude, I've never seen someone want to be a cult leader so much in my life than Ezra Miller. Like, he's just. Can we start the Grant Gustin push for the Flash now?
The sad thing is that it's like I think Ezra Miller did a great job as it's a sad thing. I think Ezra Miller has talent. Jared Leto. Please, God, no, Kim. No, don't put him in his. Please, no.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time. Yeah, I
It's
thought the
Morbin
exact same.
time.
Oh, now it's like it's flashing time.
So
no, that's what got Ezra Miller in trouble.
It's flashing time. Yeah, I don't. I think Ezra Miller has talent, and it's a shame because he seems like an unbalanced person, and that sucks. That sucks for him, and it's really shitty. I don't know everything he's done. I know that there was like police were looking for him, and like you said, he kind of exposed himself, and I heard he roughed up a woman somewhere or came on to her in a bar.
What would the police were looking for? The the audacity of him to put on Twitter, good luck, basically the essential of you're not gonna find me, you can't touch me. It's like, why? Just
I thankfully didn't follow any of that. So I'm happy I didn't have to sit through any of it. I wish he wouldn't be. I wish he wasn't apparently the person he is, but he is. So he needs help, and I don't know, or some incarceration, whatever the case may be.
Maybe both. I don't know.
Maybe
at this point, he really does need incarceration for grooming a child. But so here's the thing: I think there's actually a connection between him and Amber Heard.
But you know what? I don't know if I want to go down that just because I just wanted to be like, he's an idiot.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
once again,
I think there's
like
a bigger problem with Hollywood. Well, no, I think
but I don't want to get into that though. I'm just literally
emotional bullshit is emotional bullshit, and we cannot be armchair quarterbacks for every single celebrity and every single person.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we literally just wanted to take that time to take a shot at Ezra Miller. That was it.
Yeah,
I just
that's fine.
I just wanted to dog pop. I can tell you the show that I am actually the most surprised by and in love with at this time, Miss Marvel, is just a fantastically written show. And this is exactly what I was talking about, which was the problem with like Moon Knight or the problem with other shows that are on there. Everything that's happening in the show is written organically.
Yes.
So that nothing is off-putting. And that it's a character that I keep wanting to see her in the official costume, that we kept getting teased with, but I love the fact that she's earning this costume. I love the fact that even more so than Parker in the trilogy that he just did with Tom Holland or whatever. It's very much the questions of a teenager going, "Oh, I did this. Ooh, no, I should have did." Like, it's that conflict within that just has me coming back to the show every single Wednesday. And I gotta admit, this is probably the best show that Disney's done. Disney Plus has done. Let me rephrase that, because Moon Knight, I just did not like how the more and more I think about Moon Knight, that ending just ruined just about the entire series for me.
Right.
But this show, hats off to the writers, hats off to the actors. Everything just feels together, and the production sets and the art choices that they are making in the middle of it is just fantastic. It doesn't take you out of the movie because you're thinking that's kind of what I would do when I was a kid. You would see stuff kind of flash through or whatever, and it was your own imagination. So I just, for me, I really hope they keep this spirit alive. I don't necessarily need to see her in any Marvel movies because I feel like they've got their own thing with this, and I think it's working. I feel like it's working.
Yeah. No, I was pleasantly surprised. I was worried this was going to feel like something that should have been on Freeform, right? With sort of like the traditional teen angst, BS, crap that you get. But I was really surprised by how well, like you said, it's organic. And I was also worried they're going to do the thing where it's like, well, because she's a woman and because she's a girl, she's going to get the powers and she's going to be good and it's going to be wonderful. And do again that more freeform crap. Instead, they're like, no, she's got to learn. She does need to earn, to your point, her suit. Like, without any spoilers.
Hold on real quick. Yes, Mike Tyson, you're right. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, it's like there is a scene at the end or towards the end of the second episode where you realize, okay, I see where they're going with this. They're making her a Peter Parker in a lot of ways, right? Which is fine. That again, we all love Peter Parker for a reason.
And we love Kim.
Yeah, and we love Kim. I mean, maybe even a little more than Peter Parker, but not. It's like they're making her they're making her earn it. She's having a unique story. I like the fact that it looks like it's going like they're bringing in the Department of Damage Control finally in a real way instead of just a one-off here and there. I love it because I've been waiting for them to do something more with damage control. That's been
since the introduction
yeah
in Homecoming.
and
Yeah,
Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like because that really should have been a bigger part of the whole universe at this point.
Yeah, because they only popped up in a couple, like in one or I think they were in which Venom? Were they in Venom? The first Venom? They
No.
didn't they show up? I thought they were there when with the down spaceship.
No.
It wasn't. It should be damage control, but they didn't.
It should be, but they didn't explicitly say it. Okay, I kind of maybe I just inserted it in there, like kind of figured that's who it was.
Yeah,
I think the bigger of us nerds all kind of did the same thing. It's like,
of course, my camera's frozen.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm only up to episode 2, so I can't speak for anything that happens after that. But I'm pleasantly pleased with the show. They've like you said, the choices they're making, or as it from a storytelling perspective, are organic. I like it. It's really good.
Yeah, I thought I actually was very surprised, pleasantly surprised, I should say, because I thought kind of Jason, I think you touched on it there. I really thought this was going to be like a little teeny bopper for teens, sort of. Oh, let's give the kids a show, and not to say that I don't watch kids shows. I mean,
yeah,
I still watch cartoons. I still watch all that stuff, but it's like there's the difference between it being an emotional journey that is a mature enough journey for somebody to enjoy versus just a little teeny bopper throwaway sort of situation. At least for me, throwaway situation. It's not something but this is not that. This is much more a coming of age story and growing up and dealing with her powers.
Very John Hughes.
Very John Hughes. Yeah, very John Hughes.
I love that.
Relationship with the mother, relationship with her father, seeing her being she's turning into that not angsty actually. Angsty isn't even really the word. That difficult to explain insurance agents. Oh God, the insurance claims.
Yeah. For Department of
yeah, it's true.
Collateral
damage.
Yeah.
But it's like she's because it's not angst, but it is something that's easily relatable for all of us who have gone through, who have grown up, right? You may not be going through angst, but there are still those things that you just can't explain to your parents, and you just can't talk to them about. Like it happens to all of us, and it's very well done in this show. Yes. And my other, like from a visual standpoint, from a production standpoint, I love seeing the way they've incorporated our reality of texting on phones into an organic presentation. Like I love, you see what's going on in her mind when they're walking down the sidewalk talking about her ideas for her cosplay, for her costume. You see the graffiti changing on the walls. You see idea like balloons and bubbles above their heads, and you see when they're texting, it's these portions of neon signs are becoming the text that they're sending each other. I mean, they've integrated it so well into the show that it's better than just throwing up subtitles on the bottom of something or going into a full scene and you're showing it just going through her mind that so many people do. They continue the scene and they just throw the ideas and things in there, and it makes it so much more rich and enjoyable to see that happening.
I also love the fact that you could absolutely see the teen portion of this where you start to see, oh, here comes a love triangle, and they dealt with it so freaking quickly and threw it away so fast, and they even mentioned it like, we don't have time for this, they're trying to kill her, and it was like, okay, we're done. Like, let's get on to the point. It was because they could have done the CW thing.
I don't know that it is over though. That's the thing, Ray. Is it's still because I mean we see that his intentions are different than the rest of them, and he does genuinely care for her in some way, right? He's only met her and only known her for a couple of days, but he is in some way, shape, or form interested in her, and of course her friend is too, in the perpetual friend zone that he's in. We've all been there. So
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know that it's over, but I don't know that it's over completely, but I like that they did the normal thing, which I think any rational person should do, which is like, hey, we don't have, like you said, we don't have time for this right now. Okay, great. It's still there. It's still there, Ray. I don't think it's gone. So
I don't think
just
it's
got
gone
more
either,
complicated.
but I love the fact that it has they shifted so quick from that, because too many times, especially in this series setup, do we spend too much time with that.
Right.
I love Superman and Lois right now is probably the only CW show that I'm watching, and because it's like they took all their good writers and just put them on that show and said, don't let this fail. But even then, they still have, because they have 13 episodes, there is that progression of you get that. And in here, it just felt, not only, again, it goes back to being organic. Not only did it feel like they're like, we don't have time to deal with that right now. It was I felt it was almost like a wink to the audience, which was like, yeah, we're not going to deal with this. We may come back to it, but not right now. And so even though we know that this is a setup for, the Marvels, right, next year, and again, I still stand by, I don't really want to see her as part of that. I'd rather see her on her own exploits. But they're doing such a good job. I just hope it doesn't change. I hope that doesn't change, and I hope they don't do what Moon Knight did, which was set up a couple of good episodes and then just didn't know where to go with it at the end. It doesn't appear that they're having that same issue. I just want to keep it strong.
Yeah, so far it doesn't look like so far every episode has been strong, and I hope they continue that as well. I really do.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
Pleasantly surprised and in love with the show. Probably one of my favorite shows right now. No, I take that back. It is my favorite show right now, especially once Kenobi's ended. I'll tell you really quick. I don't know how much time we're gonna have time to talk about this, but The Boys, the season. Again, and I'll say this much: as a comic book, it was always, let's top this following thing, and Garth Ennis would absolutely put in some deeper thoughts into certain aspects of it, but it really was like, we're going to do more. The writers of this show has said, yes, we're going to hit you with the absurd, but this latest, when an episode, especially as hyped as the one that just aired, could have delved into the absurd for the entirety, for it to have the amount of emotional depth with the main characters just blew me away.
Be careful what you say also. So Kim, I've only seen the first episode, so I'm not looking at chat anymore. because I haven't seen the rest of them. So this
I'm
is one
trying
that
not
I
to say
don't want
anything, but this is evident in every single season with them, right?
Yeah.
They don't just leave it there. They deal with the characters from a human standpoint. They just have the absurdity around it, and so my hat's off to the writers of The Boys as well, because there are definitely moments where I'm just like, to Kim's point, I don't want to see this. I don't like. You're like, why did you have to add that? But then there are these deep moments where you just were like, wow, that's jacked up, and but it is a nice Miss Marvel is a nice palate cleanser as well to The Boys. It's not as dire as, say, The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
Which was just a weekly beatdown. No matter, good things could never happen on that show.
So glad I stopped watching that in the middle of the second or third season. That was such a, that was just too much, man. Yeah. My wife and I, and it's probably my fault. I have a lot of darker tastes in subject matter than she does, for sure. I mean, we're kind of equal in that, but I can definitely get deeper on stuff like The Boys, and the violence that is, like the violence and everything that's in that. She's like, do we really have to watch this? And even like with Stranger Things, when in the very first episode of it, this particular season, there are some things that the way these individuals are being killed that just are kind of like make you go, and she doesn't watch that. What is it, District 9? Y'all remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She didn't like it because she's like, I don't want to see people exploding. And I'm like, really? I do. Like, it's fine. I don't mind that. And she was like, it's disgusting. And
After this, we're watching Scanners, honey.
I was like, this is just, yeah, right, exactly. And I was like, this really isn't that bad. This is just, sci-fi violence, which to me is not real, because I know it's not real. It's like, I don't, it's like, how come I can watch, an alien in Men in Black explode in jelly and goo everywhere, and what, just because it's green or blue, it doesn't bother me?
Yeah.
No, it's like, again, it could still be red and gory, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not bothered by that either. But we do watch a lot of shows, like we got into Yellowstone a while back,
Mhm.
and by the way, that is a phenomenal series. If you haven't watched it, there's a lot of really, really good stuff going on there. Some of it is really hard to watch as well. And that's a nice change from a sci-fi, from our Marvel. It's a break from Marvel. It's a break from superheroes. But we do try to find those palate cleansers, I guess, is really where I'm getting to here. And to your what you're saying, Ray, Miss Marvel is a nice cleansing of just like, okay, let me watch even Stranger Things. Like, Stranger Things for us is a little hard to watch at a certain point in the night, because you're like, I gotta watch something else to try to just like get rid of that, because it's disturbing. So it is nice to have a show like Miss Marvel to give a little breath of fresh air, and just make it not as heavy, while still being a very heavy and complicated subject, but it's more relatable and easier to deal with, I think.
And when it's more, when it's a better written and more organic show, it's always good. It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I love the Umbrella Academy. Um, and I haven't even started season 3 yet. I know that just came out, but again, if it's written good, then if it's written well, I'm gonna enjoy it a lot more. But to that point, like getting away from the superhero thing, like I'm starting to watch Hustle, the new Adam Sandler movie on Netflix
I
about,
need to check that out.
it's just I appreciate really well written storylines that are giving you a chance to explore something else. And when comic book movies achieve that, or comic book series achieves that, I think that's an even higher praise, because you could just fall into the same tropes that you would normally do and get stuck into that pattern. And as much as I love the DC characters, it's a perfect example of getting stuck in that pattern. With a couple of exceptions, right? I thought Shazam was an exception for it.
Shazam was
Yeah.
Shazam felt like a more lighthearted, and it was a more lighthearted movie.
Mhm.
They didn't put this entire like grayscale blue lens across everything, where
Yeah.
or yellow lens, where it just looks so depressing and ominous. They lightened it up. They made it more. It felt more like a John Hughes sort of situation. It really does, and I hope they always continue in that vein. That being said, I am looking forward to Black Adam. I really do want to see that dark, crazy. Like, I'm curious, man. I hope they do good. I hope they do well.
So talking to me and the kiddo finished watching the trailer for the new Black Adam movie, and she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, good, another Rock movie. I wonder what kind of character he's gonna play. Will it be the Rock or the Rock?"
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I was like,
Well,
okay,
Not
like,
wrong.
you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong. But
Yeah.
that's why he is. Listen, it can be said for Keanu Reeves. Oh, great.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves movie. Is he going to be Keanu Reeves or Keanu Reeves? And
Is he
that's
gonna
the
be
thing.
whoa?
We still love. I still that there's still something to be loved about those actors. And again, another Ryan Reynolds movie. Oh, who's he going to play?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds
or
Or
Ryan
Deadpool.
Reynolds. Yeah.
Or Deadpool.
Or is he going to be Deadpool playing Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, yeah. And I mean, that's the thing.
Tell that to the lake house.
There are certain people, certain actors who became actors because we liked just them as people.
Yeah.
And
fair.
that's
Jennifer
why
Aniston.
that Jennifer that's why they're acting. That is why they continue to act, because it's like, we like your personality, and your personality may be a good fit for a lot of these roles that are kind of just like you in that personality. That's why Adam Sandler was, I mean, Adam Sandler has earned some serious acting chops over the course of his career. I still haven't seen, what's that? What's the diamond one? The diamond dealer, the stone, Precious Gems,
something like that. Yeah, Gems.
Precious Gems. I still haven't seen that yet, but I want to watch it because, I mean, you know, he's done a good. Adam Sandler's come a long way, and some of the other actors who are very personable have come a long way. And I think, you know, Uncut Gems. That's it. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's like, I get it. The Rock is The Rock, but that is part of why we love him, and that is part of why he is, you know, so beloved in so many countries and so many things. It's like, as long as he doesn't take a turn and go into like a Steven Seagal sort of situation where that guy just got weird, right? Then he's gonna be fine. And knowing, you know, seeing The Rock's personality, I don't think he's gonna go that way. But like Steven Seagal was that same thing.
Yeah,
we all loved him for his 3-worded movie titles, right?
For Steven Seagal,
Out for Justice, right? Just whatever it was, like he always had the something something something. It was a 3-worded title, and aside from Under Siege.
Where I was about to say, is like, hold on, Under Siege only has 2.
I know, but that was a part of.
That was his
Glimmer
best
Man,
movie, though.
I'm just
no, you could say the Glimmer Man, but it's not really a 3 thing, anyways. But yeah, I still am looking forward to seeing it.
I'll tell you. I mean, everyone will probably point to, oh my gosh, Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler's having that take. For me, it was his role in Reign Over Me, where he plays
what?
He plays a character who's
lost. What was the name of the movie again?
Reign Over Me.
Reign Over Me. Okay.
I don't think it's
so. He plays a character who lost his entire family in 9/11, and he's just basically shut down. But his breakdowns in that movie were just difficult to watch in a good way.
Yeah.
So for me, that's when I was like, oh wow, he really can act, and even to a lesser degree, Spanglish, which was really just him being, I mean, just so stupid, but it was good. And yeah, Steven Seagal. Yeah.
Steven Seagal in same old bullshit.
I got to karate chop someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a video with Steven Seagal. He was supposed to be training one of these martial artists in Russia. Mm-hmm. You want to talk? You want to talk about the biggest BS you've ever seen in your life? He's like, so what I do when I block is I strike the knee, and I'm like, you broke your hand. If that had been a real kick, you would have broken your hand in 3 places. Don't give me this. Like I protect the Dalai Lama when he travels.
He's such a weird dude. Like him and Randy Quaid, man, they're gone. Like they're
are. But I kind of now wonder if Randy Quaid was onto something with the Hollywood stuff.
God.
I mean, I'm not saying the man's sane at all, at all. But there is some stuff that he pointed to way back when that now we see and we're like, wait a minute. Was he ahead of his time in figuring this out? And just went crazy because of it? Or
I think some of it just happened to be some coincidence that he had touched on a few things.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think he's still batshit crazy.
Well, he can be batshit crazy and still be right on some things.
And that's what I mean.
Back to my point on Ezra Miller. It's like, honestly, I think Hollywood's breaking a lot of people psychologically, and that's all we're finally seeing is the collateral damage.
Finally seeing. We've seen that, I mean, time and time again.
Marilyn
from
Monroe,
tons of actors and actresses.
Britney Spears,
Dude, Joaquin Phoenix, friggin' Macaulay Culkin, any of the Culkin kids. I mean, dude, just look at tons of child actors. That's
every female actor that came off the Disney Channel.
Steve, Lip Nicky, whatever his first name is. Him, but the little kid from those other movies, and then
Ray Perez broke crazy too. Thanks, Genesis. You're hysterical.
All right, so before we probably continue to actually wrap this whole thing up, because I think we're probably nearing that end. I wanted to mention one thing that I saw. This is not my idea, but and some of us may have seen it as well if we're ever on Facebook or whatever social media we're on. But I saw this and I just thought to myself, son of a bitch, that would be an amazing. I really think there could be something to this. But I don't know if y'all saw it or not. The Post was talking about the next Disney Plus series they'd like to see, and it's a Lando Calrissian centered thing. They were like, let's do a Lando Calrissian series. But every show starts out with Billy D. Williams in a cantina there playing whatever game they're playing, right? Cards, whatever, but he's playing, and it's Billy D. Williams as Lando. And then he starts telling a story, and it flashes back, and the whole story is Donald Glover as Lando playing out the scene with Billy D. Williams narrating it
I'd
in
watch
certain
that.
spots throughout.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
I'd watch that.
How badass would that be? Just him going on one-off adventures. They don't need to be long. They don't need to be drawn out. You don't need to tell this whole thing. It's just every episode is a monster of the week or a story of the week, and you're done. A quick romp, tell it, finish it. Like, how cool would that be?
At every point when they ask him, they're like, Lando, do you need a drink? Colt 45, please.
No.
Like every time. No, it's just sitting there.
But, I mean, consider it, right? He could be at a moment telling, like, we could be watching this crazy thing happening with Donald Glover's doing his thing, and it freezes. And they're all, hold on. You're telling, and then it goes back to him, and he's like, so what you're trying to tell me is you actually did? And he goes, all right, well, maybe it wasn't exactly like that. And then the scene comes back in, and it's him doing it a little differently. Like, they could do so much with that, man. That would be
God.
Disney Plus. We know you watch this show. We know you love us.
On it.
Do it.
Oh my goodness.
Do it.
What movie are you guys looking forward to coming out?
I mean, like I said, Black Adam is one that I do want to see. I know there's a couple other ones that were out there that I'm really considering that I can't wait to catch. But
can I tell you that I want to watch the Elvis one? I think that comes
out
today.
Thank you.
That Austin Butler, whatever. He looks phenomenal as Elvis.
And he's doing the voice. He's even singing the songs.
I was honestly, I want to watch that. Yeah.
Yep. He was, for anybody who I don't know, which this was a total WB series in my opinion, but the Shannara Chronicles. If you ever saw that on Amazon Prime, he is the lead character in the story that is the 2 seasons that they do in that story. And he does a great job. It's derived from the books, but I don't think it's exactly the books because they did kind of take some creative license with that, which I'm glad they did because they allowed it to be its own thing. But yeah, he was really good. Like everything I've seen him in, he's been very, very, very good. Mortal Kombat too.
I can't even remember his. Oh, that's right. He was one of the Manson kiddos in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, the Charlie Murphy style. Yes, but with a little less Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Oh my God. No, I do want to watch that. I mean, that looks it looks
interesting.
Yeah.
I was listening to someone who saw it yesterday, and she was talking about how this is what, like, it's big. It's the Baz Luhrmann does an amazing job as a storyteller. It's like finally we have a director who's like, sit down, who told the production company, sit down. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing, and does it.
And he's done it in other movies too.
No, he has.
He's done a phenomenal job in other movies. His like again, what a great subject matter for him to tackle.
Yeah.
His type of storytelling. It is Elvis. Like it's the flashes, the lights, the sparkles. Like that is his. That's the way he directs, and the way his like, because he also did The Greatest Showman on Earth as well, right?
Did he?
The one for Ringling Brothers. I
love that movie. Yeah,
which was good. That was good as well. He's done and he's done others like that. And he just, every time you see a Baz Luhrmann film, you're like, it's kind of like a Danny Elfman tune. You can see and hear his style in it. Moulin Rouge. Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Exactly. And that's
He
another
did
one.
the Romeo and Juliet back in '96 with
He did that.
Leonardo.
Thank you. I was just gonna say that too. I was like,
I'm telling you, man. He's
Great
done,
Gatsby. He did that.
Kim,
he
you're
did
right.
Australia.
You really cannot type today because I did read Moulin Rouge and you wrote Moulin
Rogue.
Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry, Kim, but yeah,
he did
good
Australia.
job.
Yeah.
He did Australia. Yeah, he's really good at these.
Yeah, he is excellent. Yeah,
like these really big. They're big movies. They have a sense of bigness to them. And I love. He does a great job with that. And
I am proud of Genesis. I'm proud of Jason. He actually is slimming down.
Jason, you look really good, man. I gotta say, it's not just your camera. It is and your new laptop. It is the fact that you do look good. So
he got the camera that takes away 10 pounds. Not
I did.
10 pounds.
It costs an extra $100.
He just actually took away 10 pounds through hard work and effort. So.
He's taken away more than 10 pounds.
It's been more.
Than 10 pounds.
I think I found the right combination. I have been bad the last couple of weeks, but I think honestly, I'm going for another 30 pounds by the end of July.
Nice, dang man. All right.
So
well,
just don't die.
Do it safely
of
and
course.
Healthily, in a way that you can maintain for the rest of your life, because it's lifestyle change. It's not a diet. And that's
exactly. No, precisely. That's the way I'm looking at this. It's a
lifestyle change, not a diet. Yeah. Cool.
Yep. Turning over some leaves.
The goal here is to just be as thin as Sean for me and Jason.
You don't know. I'm skinny fat. I've realized I'm the same weight that I have been when I slimmed down.
I think both me and Jason would take skinny fat.
When I put on some actual muscle, and I realize now that all that muscle that I worked on has now turned back into fat, and I'm at the moment where I'm about to start getting bigger. So I need to do something about it.
Yeah, I take skinny fat for right now, but I am actually looking to bulk back up.
I understand. No, I'm not belittling anything. I'm just like, I'm not.
I get it.
Don't strive for me. Although that's why I was drinking just coffee this morning, is because alcohol's a part of that problem too, man. I can't drink as much as I want to. So
it's all sugar.
Here's my water, you know.
Jason, I think we're good.
All right.
I think
maybe well, you know what? Sean's like, I'm here. I was like, maybe next time we can talk about Stranger Things too. But
we didn't really touch on that, but it's still really early. Like I know you guys are kind of caught up on it at the moment until it screams. Okay. I'm
not saying it hasn't happened.
Don't touch me.
But if you guys talk about it without me, It's fine. I'm looking forward to the last couple episodes to catch me up to the point when we're waiting on their July 1st drop. So we should be up to that point, so that when the July stuff comes, we can actually watch them. Because I think it's like 2 episodes, and they're both going to be like 2 hours.
2 episodes and an ungodly time limit on both of them, but I'll
take it. They're like, but that's good. They're both movies. Yeah. So you get to watch 2 Stranger Thing films, and but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And so far, I think if we can just sum up this current season, I should say, this is way better than last season. Last season was a letdown. Last season was the first season I was like, why haven't you ended this yet?
Last season was the first season I thought, ooh, was there trouble in the writer's room? What's going on? It was
last season was a why did you do this to me? And not to me, but that's how I felt. Like for me, I was like, why did you guys write this? This is bullshit. You should never have written this. You should have ended it last season and called it quits. But this season has made me go, oh, there was something there. Yeah. You guys have a story.
So in hindsight, though, when looking back, this season has made me appreciate season 3 a little more. It just has.
It has. I agree.
Was it the best season? No, it's season 3, unless season 5 completely tanks it, which is their end of their show, or the end of that story for that group.
They should. Whatever.
So I think we could say, unless season 5 tanks, season 3 will be the weakest of it. It's just kind of there.
For up to date, season 3 is the weakest. Season 4 is redeemed. Season 4 Haven't found a flaw with it really yet. For me, it started out strong, and I still think it's going that way.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is they started going back and reading Stephen King again.
No, it's not even
No.
that. I think that's a really. Every time I see that where they go like, oh well, this was a Stephen King trope or whatever. I don't think so, man. Stephen King wrote a lot of garbage in his
Oh
time.
yeah, he has.
I mean,
No, he
for
has.
every great Carrie, we got tens of other books that were just not
Langoliers.
Langoliers. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Insomnia.
Yeah.
it's just not.
What a
No,
waste
no.
of
So I don't think it's like that. I think they
I'm
have.
never getting those out. I'm never getting those hours of my life back.
No, you're not.
I'm just not. No.
Good lord, that was horrible on the Langoliers.
Yeah.
And
They
how
eat time.
how sad is it that you can literally sit there and say the book sucked, but the movie made the book look like it was just phenomenal.
Right.
It was
the movies, that stupid little miniseries.
Oh, so
did
bad.
they make that
so
into
bad.
a movie? I didn't think they did.
No, it was a made for TV.
Genesis, I've seen you
They
read
did the
comics.
made for TV bit. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones. Rose Matter, please.
No.
It's like they portray in Family Guy. They do a little joke cutaway to Stephen King. They're like, "What is this, like Stephen King's next novel?" And they're like, and he's like, Stephen King. He's like, Stephen, this is garbage. We're not making this. Well, I've got a movie about a haunted lamp. Ooh, and he's got and I'm like, I really do feel like sometimes that's how he gets his ideas.
And I love
it's
that because
bullshit, dude.
Because his agent just looks and like, just give me the script. Like it was so horrible.
So it's funny, Kim. Eye of the Dragon was one of the ones I read way back the day, and honestly, at the age I read it, that was a good novel. At the age I read it, it was a good novel.
I see what you're doing.
If I read it now, it's a piece of shit. Yeah, actually, there's a couple like, and that's the thing is, I think Stephen King has
teenage gangbang.
That was it.
No, thank God it wasn't.
And let me tell you, when I read it at that age, I was like, wait a minute.
Why don't I have any friends like this?
Like what is this about? Like
what is this about? Yeah. No, Stephen King has a lot. There are good novels out there. There's amazing stories out there. There are Green Mile. I mean, come on.
Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption is good.
The dude can write.
Well, actually, Shawshank Redemption wasn't as good as the movie. The movie made that way.
Yeah. I completely agree. I completely agree. So
well, and that's the thing with King is that you do have phenomenal books that are out there by him, but I feel he's one of those people that just has to get everything in his head out.
Mm-hmm.
And his name's just enough that people are going to read it. Yeah. Same with like John Grisham. Right.
The Stand again, another amazing book, and also not Shawshank. Long Walk. The Long Walk was really that was really good. And what was the other one? Crap, freaking. Here's Johnny.
The Shining.
The Shining. I mean, come on, man.
Which I still can't hear.
Was that any good?
The Shining.
I haven't seen
Dr. Sleep was good.
I haven't seen that one yet either, but yeah, again,
the movie was good.
Coming back to Ewan McGregor, he's a phenomenal actor.
But Dr. Sleep was good until the third act, and that's all I'm going to say. When you get to the third act, yeah. When you get to the third act, you're going to be like, really? That's the way you decided to go?
Pet Sematary, the book was good, and as the movie was still good. The movie wasn't as good as the book, but it's still good, and it was scary. I mean, that's the thing is like it was creepy, but like some of these other, even Dolores Claiborne was good, as both a book and a movie. I mean, Kathy Bates, come on, man, she was amazing in that role.
I never read it.
Kim, you would agree, right? That third act just went off the rails, didn't
it? Spare yourself. Ewan is the only redemption. There was the other one. Can't. Was it Dolores Claiborne? Is that the same one that I'm thinking about, or am I thinking about the other one?
Misery.
Thank you, because she was. Kathy Bates was in both. Kathy Bates and Misery was. I mean, like, yeah. Anyways, good. He's got a lot of good books, but even for all the good books, he's like you said, Ray. He's a prolific writer. He writes so much that some of it is just trash. Yeah. So, anyway.
And usually after his fifth trash book, you're going to get a gem.
You are going to get a gem.
So
you will. You'll get good ones out of that. I'm not completely. Yeah. Hey, somebody's buying his books. The guy's a freaking millionaire. I think. I could be wrong. He's an author. So he might just,
Yeah. Well, at this point, he's a millionaire. The problem is he just spends it all on hashish. So
we don't even know that.
oh no, he's admitted to that one.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no, he's a fan of the hash pipe.
Good. I hope everybody enjoys whatever they enjoy, as long as it doesn't hurt.
I got the hash pipe.
See, Ray got what I was going with that one. All right, so we good. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah. I think we're good for now. I gotta go mow the lawn now.
All right, so so be here in 4 months when we have our next episode.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Anyway, yes, thank you to both of you for watching this episode. Again, we are powered by Titan Comics. All information is the doobly-doo. Go pay him a visit, and we will catch y'all on the flip side.